behalf of the CAC, which reads, whereas Joan Agajanian Quinn has distinguished herself as a dedicated member of the California Arts Council for 16 years since first appointed to the Council in 1981, and whereas during her tenure with the Council, Joan Agajanian Quinn has brought an abundance of talent, energy, and accomplishment to her duties as a Council member, and whereas through her involvement with the Public Art and Design Program of the California Arts Council, Joan Agajanian Quinn has been instrumental in placing the art of many artists in public places throughout the state of California, and whereas through her efforts and contributions to the arts, all Californians stand to benefit from the work of artists and arts organizations nurtured and supported by Joan Agajanian Quinn during her tenure with the California Arts Council, and now therefore be it resolved that the California Arts Council commends and applauds Joan Agajanian Quinn for her achievements and lifetime contributions to the arts and culture in California and the United States. Given to Joan Agajanian Quinn this 27th day of March 1997 at UCLA at the Armand Museum of Art and Cultural Center. Thank you, Joan. Before we get to the more formal part, are there any council members that would like to speak? Thank goodness. All right.
Mr. Hall, if I might, we have a council member who has just retired from the council. That's Consuelo Santos Killens. She has been struck with a late flu bug, and she would have been here to speak at this moment, and she asked me to say just a couple of words from Consuelo to Joan. Joan, Consuelo wanted you to know that you have been one of the highlights of her life. Her opportunity to work with you has been that monumental to her. Secondly, she wanted me to mention that she values and knows that California is better for the work that you have done in the visual arts. And with those two thoughts, I'll step aside.
We'll move on to Ed Kazir, who I believe has a gift to present to you.
Joan, at this very moment, I don't know where the gift is, but I've seen it and it's lovely. Here it is. It's on its way. We had a very short rehearsal, as you can well imagine. So just look at it at this juncture, Joan, and we'll tell you what it is. Well, you can see what it is, but you don't know why. You don't know why it's what it is. First of all, on behalf of all of the members of the council, I'm delighted to present you with this gift, with our affection and our gratitude, Joan. First of all, it's wonderful to see you back amongst us. We missed you already. Joan Quinn and her husband, distinguished lawyer Jack Quinn, have been supporters of the arts since the early 1960s, which was a time when only a handful of people were interested in the work of Southern California artists. Joan is a native of California. She graduated from the University of Southern California with a Bachelor of Science degree in Education. She and Jack today make their home in Beverly Hills. They're parents of twin daughters, Jennifer and Amanda, from whom we will literally hear in a few minutes. In 1981, Joan was appointed by then Assembly Speaker Willie Brown to the California Arts Council. You and Willie seem to be perpetual. She was reappointed in 1984, 1988, and again in 1991. Her term of the council ended on November 27, 1996. During her tenure, Joan has been particularly involved in the Public Art and Design Program, through which you were instrumental in bringing some of the finest of California's emerging as well as well-known artists to the public eye. Happily, some of those artists are here today. Through this program, the works of many artists were installed in public places throughout California. Joan is also an active journalist, print journalist, and she hosts a television show dealing with the world of art and artists. Joan, we clearly are concerned about keeping you with us in a very real way, and we thought it important that we come up with some sort of memento that would remind you of how much you have meant to us. We struggle with it, as you might imagine, because clearly it would be redundant to provide a work of art since you are the finest work of art of all. Jack said you already had a watch, so that was out of the question. And jewelry we knew was something we couldn't do in light of both what we see today and also having seen the Schlumberger collection. So thanks to Scott Heckes, the imagination of Scott Heckes and April Geary, they came up with a wonderful idea which would tie into today, and that is this ark or box into which to put all of the things you will receive today. The ark is the work of a man appropriately named Carpenter, specifically Arthur Espinay Carpenter. He's a craftsman who works in Stinson Beach, at Stinson Beach, California. And the material that you see is on the top, it's California walnut, and the sides are bay. And as you look at it, you'll see it's truly a remarkable piece of art. Mr. Carpenter has had his work shown at MoMA in New York and in San Francisco, at the Smithsonian, the Museum of Contemporary Crafts in New York, the Oakland Museum, and in the Crocker Museum Living Treasures collection in Sacramento. I really want you to know what you're getting at. He's also been a fellow for the National Endowment for the Arts, a Fulbright lecturer in New Zealand and Australia. He has received the California Living Treasure Award and the American Craft, he's a member of the American Craft Council of College of Fellows. The Marin County Art Commission Award was also made to him. So there you have our gift. As I said earlier, we give it to you with lots of affection and much gratitude.
Passing the baton here, and I believe Jim Loper, you have the next presentation.
Mr. Chairman and Joan, there are two letters that I do not have today, but I have two to read. The first one that we don't have is a letter from the White House and Hillary Clinton, and that will be delivered shortly, which you will find a place of honor in that box that you've received. The second one is a letter coming from former President Reagan, and that will be here soon. But today, we have a letter from the Vice President, and it's so marked from the Vice President in Washington, and it says, "Dear Ms. Quinn, I am pleased to have this opportunity to extend my personal greetings as you are recognized for your contributions to the arts in California. While I regret that I am unable to join you in person, I would like to add my congratulations to those of your family, friends, and associates. Certainly you can be proud of your history of dedicated service to your community. As your term on the California Arts Council comes to a close, I'm confident that you can reflect on the previous years with a tremendous sense of accomplishment. Tipper joins me in sending our warmest hopes for your continued success in the future." Again, please, son. This is Al Gore. And then a second. And a second letter from Henry Waxman. "Dear Ms. Quinn, congratulations on being honored for your many years of dedicated service on the California Arts Council. I'm delighted to join your family and friends in recognizing your tremendous contributions to the arts. During your tenure on the California Arts Council, you have been devoted to keeping the arts alive as a founder of the Los Angeles Museum of Contemporary Art, as chair of the Art in Public Buildings program, and as a member of the Beverly Hills Architectural Committee. In addition, you have been instrumental in making art accessible by producing the Joan Quinn profiles and by writing and editing a variety of publications. Your work has been particularly meaningful in this climate of scarce and threatened funding for the arts. Our community owes you a great deal of gratitude for your generous commitment and your distinguished record of achievement. Thank you for your outstanding service and best wishes on your future endeavors. Henry Waxman, Member of Congress."
Joan, pay attention here. Over 20 years, it gives me enormous pleasure to read this letter to you from Governor Wilson. To Joan Agajanian Quinn, on behalf of the state of California, I am delighted to join with everyone who has gathered to honor you for your 16 years of service to the California Arts Council. The skill, creativity, and cultural significance reflected in artistic expression has inspired people for many ages, from live theater and diverse exhibits to opera, ballet, and symphony. The artistic spirit is alive and vibrant in the Golden State. Artistic patrons such as yourself add to California's historic renown for artistic innovation and achievement. You have my thanks, Joan, for all you have done to enhance the cultural richness of our state, and I trust you take special pride in knowing that you have set an example of civic involvement that others can emulate. On this occasion of well-deserved tribute, please accept my best wishes for an enjoyable afternoon and every future success. Sincerely, Pete Wilson.
And from Senator John Burton, a letter, David.
Well, Joan, you've certainly been a friend of the Burton family for many, 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 many years. But let me read a letter here from Senator John Burton, who says the following. Dear Joan, let me take this opportunity to congratulate and thank you for the many years of dedicated service to the California Arts Council. For the past 15 years, you have served the California Arts Council with distinction and with honor. With the help of committed individuals such as yourself, California has continued to foster a healthy and growing arts environment. This state has greatly benefited from your commitment to the arts. We are in your debt. I wish you the best in your future endeavors. I have no doubt that you will be equally successful. Peace and friendship, John L. Burton. Thank you.
Thank you, David. And from the Joint Committee on the Arts of the California State Legislature, I'd like to introduce Angela Young, representing Committee Chairman Senator Adam Schiff. Would you like to come forward?
Good afternoon. I'm both pleased and very proud to be here today. The Senator will not be able to make it today because he is out of town. This week is Easter recess, but he did call yesterday from out of state, and he asked me to extend his sincerest best wishes and congratulations upon your many achievements with the council. I'm a bit nervous. I'm new to this. That's why he should be here. He did want me to also tell the council he's looking forward to working with all of you and with any of the supporters of the arts. He feels this is very important. He is, as mentioned, he is the chairman of the Joint Committee on the Arts, and he is getting to know many of you, and he's looking forward to meeting all of you. If you have a chance to stop by, please do so. I will not read the resolution. It is very long, but please, please continue your work even though you're retired. You are an inspiration and a role model to everybody, not just in the art community, but all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now we have proclamations from the cities of Beverly Hills, Los Angeles, and San Francisco, and I believe in the audience are representatives from the cities, the Honorable Mayor Marilee Goldman and Thomas Levin, council member from the city of Beverly Hills. He couldn't be here. All right.
Well, it's a great treat to be here, not only representing the city, but representing my friendship with Joan of many, many years. Joan served our city nobly on our Fine Arts Commission and not only brought beautiful works of art, but brought one or two that stirred the whole town up. Now, I know some of you will find that difficult to believe, but those of you who know Joan well won't find it hard to believe at all. And you know, there is a value to a work of art that people are puzzled by and concerned about and even don't like, because it gets them to think about it, and it wakes them up and makes them aware of what's happening and extends their knowledge. So even when it looks like a catastrophe, it can be a blessing. So I thank Joan as her friend and as the mayor of her city. And I have a word for the California Arts Commission before I get to the proclamation. When Joan finished her service on the Fine Arts Commission, we caught her and got her to service again on the Architectural Commission. So California, take a good look at what else you've got. Don't lose her. She's a national treasure. Now, 6 whereases and you're home free. Whereas the California Arts Council was established in 1976 as a state agency to promote artistic awareness and serve the citizens of California by providing technical assistance and grants to artists and nonprofit organizations. And whereas on March 27, 1997, the California Arts Council honors Joan Agajanian Quinn upon her retirement from the California Arts Council after 16 years of dedicated service. Joan was appointed, as we've heard, to the Arts Council by then Assembly Speaker Willie Brown Jr. in 1981 and deservedly reappointed in 1984 and again in 1988. And whereas native Californian Joan Agajanian Quinn resides in Beverly Hills, and that's our good luck, with her husband John J. Quinn, who I'm trying hard to catch for another commission, an attorney. He works too hard, I just can't get a hold of him, and tirelessly devoted her artistic endeavors to the enrichment of the community and society at large, and we all know that. She is a founding member of the Los Angeles Museum of Contemporary Art, has served as a board member for the Hollywood Women's Press Club and the Santa Monica College of Design, Art and Architecture, has been a member of the Costume Council of the LA County Museum of Art, and former chairperson of our Beverly Hills Fine Art Commission. And whereas Joan's leadership in the arts, as well as fashion, entertainment, and journalism, has continued through her involvement as founding West Coast editor of Interview and Traveler magazines, former society editor for numerous publications, including the Los Angeles Herald Examiner, which some of us are old enough to remember, and LA Style, and has directed fashion exhibitions for museums and galleries throughout the United States. And whereas Joan Agajanian Quinn currently serves as a member of Beverly Hills Architectural Commission, with great distinction, I would add, and the amazing Blue Ribbon 400 of the Music Center, and produces and hosts Joan Quinn Profiles, an arts and entertainment television program. And whereas Joan Agajanian Quinn has shared her undaunting passion for the arts with all those of us whose lives she's touched, through her lifetime devotion and commitment to the many philanthropic and arts-oriented causes, thereby benefiting all of society and truly all of us. Now, therefore, this is where I get to do it. I, Marilee Goldman, Mayor of the City of Beverly Hills, do hereby recognize my dear friend Joan Agajanian Quinn for her extraordinary accomplishments and dedication to the arts, and commend her for her outstanding service. And Joan, I would just close with one of my favorite quotes, the quote from Eleanor Roosevelt: "The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams." And Joan has made a lot of dreams come true for so many of us. So thank you very much.
Thank you. From Mayor Reardon's office in Los Angeles, I believe we have Stacy Greenwood and Alan Odell, General Manager of the Los Angeles Cultural Affairs Department.
Well, good morning or good afternoon. I bring you greetings from Mayor Reardon. It is really a great honor to be here this morning. Jane Austen once said that every town has a great lady, and it's obvious that Joan Quinn is that great lady for the arts community. And I'm here to say what Mayor Reardon says. On the completion of many years of dedicated and praiseworthy service as a member of the California Arts Council, on behalf of the residents of the City of Los Angeles and the arts industry, I thank you for your hard work and outstanding contributions throughout the years. Best wishes for continued success in the days and years ahead. Signed this day by Mayor Richard Reardon. Thank you.
Joan, if I can redirect your attention to the left. David has a letter from the Honorable Willie Brown, Mayor of the City of San Francisco.
Yes, this is from His Honor, His Willingness, the Honorable Mayor of San Francisco, long time friend of yours, obviously. And he says, "Oh, dear Joan, On behalf of the City and County of San Francisco, I am pleased to extend heartfelt appreciation for all your hard work on the California Arts Council. San Francisco recognizes and honors your commitment to provide guidance, inspiration, and education to the San Francisco arts community. Since I first appointed you to the council in 1981, you have consistently and adamantly served our great city by the bay. Never content to explore a single artistic venue, you were chairwoman of the Art Public Places program for the council and the founding West Coast editor of Condé Nast Traveler magazine. I commend your constant pursuit of excellence in the arts and honor your invaluable contributions to all citizens of our city. My best wishes for continued success in all your future endeavors. Warmest regards, Willie Brown, Mayor.
I'd like to ask Barbara Piper if she would come up and present the tributes from the CAC staff.
Thank you, Chairman Hall. Joan, as you see in that box made of native woods from California, there are many memories that are going to be contained in there. Among them are many written and even pictorial tributes from members of our staff, as well as personal letters that have come from members of the council, and we know that you'll have fun reading those. In what spare time, apparently people have designs on your time, so I don't know what you're going to have left after today. But we hope you'll have fun looking through that, and it will be a permanent memory. Joan, there are many things that as staff members that we could say, but to keep it short, both the past and the present staff extend to you our deepest appreciation for your services.
Joan, we received letters too, and I suspect in some cases about you, from many artists and arts leaders. It's sort of like reading the phone book, but here goes. Joan Abramson, Richard Alatorre, Don McCarty, and forgive me if I don't exactly pronounce your name, Mayor Willie Brown, his willingness, as David just referred, Larry Bell, Senator John Burton, Assemblyman Cruz Bustamante, Claudia Chaplin, Stephen Ehrlich, Claire Falkenstein, John Ferraro, Jean Richtenberg, Elsie Flores, Charles Garabedian, Frank Gehry, Joe Good, Greg Norman, Robert Graham, who I know is here, Larry and Maj Hagman, Fred Hoffman, Henry Hopkins, our generous host, Richard Kushalik, Pamela Price Leckman, Gilbert Lujan, Paul Minicucci, Edward Moses, Gwen Murrell, Peter Nelson, William Paparian, the mayor of Pasadena, Zandra Rhodes, Adam Schiff, Maurice Tuckman, Maxine Waters, Harold Williams. That's truly quite a roster. In addition, a number of artists have decided rather than write that they would produce a piece of artwork. They're to be found, I believe, in the other room. Is that correct? And these contributors include Charles Arnoldi, Tony Berland, Eugette Callan, Wood Davey, Greg Edwards, Ned Evans, Charles Garabedian, who's doubling up here, Gilbert Lujan, also, Glenn Murrell, also, Eric Orr, Ken Price, and Bruce Richards. These items are, as indicated, on display in the back room.
No, we're not finished yet. Just like a council meeting, you get so anxious. And to present you with commemorative items of their own, I'd like to ask Tony Beriant, Zandra Rhodes, Elsie Flores, George Herms, and Peter Nelson to come forward in that order if they might. Or are they not here? We'll get through this quicker than we thought. Or in any order you prefer.
I just had a proclamation that I chose to personally deliver to you. If a rose is a rose, and was ever a rose, it's Joan Quinn. Joan, you're one of those amazing women in art history, much like Gertrude Stein, whose undying support and championing of artists have meant more to this painter than you'll ever know. Since the first time we met in our loft in downtown LA, that I shared with my late husband, Carlos Almaraz. I knew then that you were a living work of art, full of light, color, movement, energy, and great passion, and possessing much great artistic integrity and fabulous eccentricities. I am not alone, Joan, in thanking you, especially as a woman and one of color, in the arena of American art and in the city of angels. You are generously an art angel. Thank you, Joan. I have said it before, and I would like to say it here publicly among this community of artists, that I personally proclaim you, Joan Quinn, the Santissima Joan Quinn, patron saint of artists. I love you, Joan.
Most of your artist friends aren't very good at making written proclamations. And so I wanted to say at least a few words about how much we really love you, which is you and Jack. You're really inseparable in our lives. And that most of us are begrudgingly grateful to our patrons. Mr. Hammer was certainly a patron, but not loved. And it's difficult to sometimes feel genuine love for those who take care of you. But actually, we all have always felt that you were in the little boat with us, sometimes warning us not to run aground, and often helping us. And I see much of the original LA art team out here. I can't remember when I've seen so many of us dressed as adults, during the daytime at least. And many of us have prepared pieces for you for your sparse home. Because we have noticed that there are still a few spaces between the spaces. And also looking out at this group, almost all of whom have been really intimate friends of yours for 30 years, I'm reminded that life is short, but art is long. And you've been responsible for making our life in the present wonderful and for allowing us to make some gifts which will be appreciated more in the future than they are today. And it's hard to separate our love and appreciation from both of you around the California Arts Council, because it's so much part of the complete fabric of our life. But you really acted as our ambassador to the state bureaucracy and said, hey, this is going to be fun, it's going to be different. And I'm very grateful. You were only able to convince a small group of my colleagues, I see here. But I went along with the gang, and I'm very grateful. And if you ever visit the DMV in Davis, California, you'll see the magnificent results of our collaboration. We all truly love you.
I feel very privileged to be a friend of Joan Quinn, Zandra Quinn and the family. And although I'm in a fairly highly visible job, I don't really feel very good at public speeches, but I thought this was such a wonderful, momentous occasion that I had to be a part of it. And just to say how I just wanted to say how I first met Joan, which was with her camera in my funny little loft in London, where she came round with artist Alan Jones, and she'd been in London with Bob Graham and Billy Al at that time, and left her camera behind. So it was very momentous that I had to re-find her. And so I'm absolutely thrilled that you're being honoured here today, Joan. And I feel it's a most, well, as everyone said, it's a most well-deserved honour. And I just, in my letter that I've written that's gone into that magic box, I've written to me that there's only one Joan Agajanian Quinn, and I think she's totally undescribable. You see her and you can't believe your eyes. She's a whirlwind of colour and a vibrant personality, with glittering works of art jewellery, not to mention Zandra Rhodes or two. And I find that she's overwhelming in that her incredible brain never stops promoting and putting people together. And additionally, she records all that and makes every occasion momentous. your never-ending support from Jack means that even during world travels, she never loses an opportunity for promoting Californian art and exploiting everything and making everyone know about it. I think she's been responsible for so many careers in the fine art and decorative art world and making them visible and finding a foothold and letting people know about Los Angeles and the West Coast. Not that it's not there anyway, but she's always effervescent and enthusiastic and electric, and her actions speak louder than her words. And I think that what's so wonderful is she's such a great representative for Californian art, and she's a proud native Angelino, and I feel very proud that I know her. And I remember when she first submitted to be on the board, and I wondered then why she hadn't been before. And it's wonderful to be part of such a special occasion. Thank you.
How you doing, John? I hope you love me, because I love you. And all of these people here.
George is
something.
George is wondering if Beverly Hills have any problems.
Okay, this is for John.
That was fun.
It was. It was more than fun. Educational. Games of 1995. Inside it says artistic differences. This is the trophy. And this is the card of the moon dial that Joan so lovingly brought to Beverly Hills, and we have lived happily ever after.
Henry James' advice to writers was try to be one of those on whom nothing is lost. And I think Joan Quinn obviously is one of those on whom nothing has been lost. Among the wonderful qualities that I've noticed about you, Joan, in working over the years, is the tremendous range and vitality of your interests. And your ability always, no matter what the situation, to see through to the deepest and most basic humanity of all the people that you're working with, and to see them through the light of appreciation for their best qualities. I think this ability to see through appreciation is perhaps the clearest and truest vision of all. We know now from physics that the quality of attention that we bring actually influences what we perceive. Your ability to see with appreciation, I think, is a great gift to us all. And I'm pleased to join all those who have celebrated your achievements here today. I also wrote a resolution which is around the corner. I won't read it, but I would like to summarize a couple of the high points because it has to do with the seasons. Many years ago, I used to write these resolutions for the County of Los Angeles, and I thought this is an occasion I cannot let go by. Often it was difficult to find the thread of achievements and resolutions that would be presented, but I can think of 3 cases in which it was extremely obvious where the weight of a person's spirit and life had gone. One was a chance to write a resolution for someone who influenced my childhood greatly, Stan the Man Musial, the baseball player in his last tour around the league. Another was the singer Harry Belafonte, and the third was the opportunity to write this resolution for Joan Quinn. And it begins with a reference to California's history and seasons, with a reference to the fact that California was once the place on Earth that had the most native species of wildflowers. And another whereas is that California once showed up on European maps as an island. The resolution goes on to cite the many achievements of Joan's, which you have heard about today, and adds something about her capacity to adore and her capacity to notice the emerging and the unknown as well as the entrenched and the invested. And in that quality, she represents the most ancient patroness of the arts, the goddess of consciousness and life. And the resolution ends with a reference to the fact that, during the time that Joan has been active on the council and in arts in California in the past few decades, California has actually emerged as a center of arts and culture worldwide among old Europe and the East Coast and Far East. And I think that this is not a coincidence. The reference also is made among the whereases to the fact that in the early days, the Spanish sailors could see all the way to the mountains, now called the San Gabriels, and that there was a wash of color against the mountains created by the golden poppies and blue lupin. And one of the whereases states that perhaps California will again be the home of more wildflowers than any place else on Earth, and California is no longer perceived by the far-flung as an island, and the sailors who saw so much color against the mountains said that it was the altar cloth of San Pasquale spread upon the hills. And I would like to conclude by saying that in this time of the wildflowers, it's fitting to celebrate your achievements for so many of us, Joan, and to give you best wishes for all to come.
Thank you, Peter. Joan, we also would like to recognize that's good to hear. You have to be careful with this council to interrupt us. We don't know where to start. The other friends and artists who are with us today, and I'd just briefly like to mention them. Richard Alatorre, Peter Alexander, Don Bacardi, Molly Barnes, Billy Al Bankston, Jim Bauer, Jacqueline Cartalucci, Mary Corse, Woods Davey, Laddie John Dill, Greg Edwards, Steve Eng, Ned Evans, Fred Eversley, Joe Fay, Simone Gadd, Joe Good, Robert Graham, Elise Christine, Jim Hayward, George Herms, David Hockney, Carney Hodge, Juanita and Joni Cam Tom, Lisa Kitchen, Gil Kraft, Karen Kuhlman, Pamela Price-Leckman, Hal well, I don't know Hal, but it's misspelled, so Hal Melter. Would you like to? Suzanne Muchnick, Peter Nelson, Charles Slab Hatton, Astrid Preston, Ken Price, Bruce Richard, Mike Roos, Thomas Statham, Maurice Tuckman, and John Walsh. We'd like to thank you all for being here today, and since we couldn't ask, nor would we ask everyone to speak because Joan wouldn't sit still for it, I'd like to ask Joan Abramson to come up and speak on behalf of the community.
Please don't leave.
They won't.
I'll be sure. As director of the Santa Monica College of Design, Art, and Architecture, on behalf of our students, faculty, and board of advisors, I salute Joan Quinn for her contribution to the arts in the state of California. Joan is a member of our board of advisors, along with Elise Brinstein and Henry Hopkins, who are here with us today, and of this hands-on school with a faculty of distinguished professional working artists.
many of whom are here today. It was designed with Black Mountain College and the Bauhaus as our inspiration. Yet as part of the California Community College system, students pay only $13 a unit, allowing them to be admitted on the basis of commitment and ability with no financial barriers. Joan's guidance has helped the school to grow into an established studio-based arts program and to flourish with the talents of many students. Her dedication to the college has helped it thrive as an exciting alternative to traditional arts programs. Her many years of service to the arts community in California have helped to enrich the environment for both artists and the public at large. Although Joan is completing her term on the California Arts Council, her influence and contributions will be felt for many years to come. Thank you, Joan, for your enthusiasm and your support, which elevate and honor the arts, which is so close to your heart.
I'd like to introduce Jim Giggins from Channel 4.
I moved here to Los Angeles 15 years ago from Paris, and I was told not to come, that I was a foreign correspondent for ABC News there, and I was told that there was no one interesting in Los Angeles. You know how the French can be. I came anyway, and one of the first people I met was Joan Agajanian Quinn at a reception. She was in a dynamite Zandra Rhodes dress. Her hair was magenta, I think, or maybe green, with streaks of all different colors. And I'm saying to myself, no one interested in Los Angeles? Over the coming years, the succeeding years, I ran into Joan a lot, and she was iconoclastic, she was cutting edge, she was fantastic. She knew a lot about everything. She knew how to dish. She knew a lot. She knew a lot about a lot of people. And I said to myself, if she lives here, this has got to be an extraordinary place. And I ended up staying, well, it's been 15 years now, and I've come to know Joan quite well, and my little girl, who is 6, my daughter, Diana, and we were in a function a few weeks ago, and every time she sees Joan, she's just fascinated by her. And I think she wants to grow up to be her. Who is that lady? Well, that's Joan Agajanian Quinn, remember? Daddy, she's something, isn't she? And she really is, and she has been. And not only for the arts community, I think for all of us in Los Angeles. She's made a world of difference, of course, for artists who are here. She's been supportive, she's been their patron, but not only for them, for all of us, because I think Los Angeles is a much more extraordinary place because of it. I'm on the board of the Los Angeles Music Center Opera, and now that she has a bit more time, perhaps she'll join us on that board as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Last but not least, two very important introductions. I'd like to recognize Joan's mother, Mrs. Joan Agajanian. And Joan's husband, Attorney Jack Quinn. Daughters, Jennifer and Amanda Quinn.
Thank you all so much for coming out and celebrating my mother. We celebrate her at home every day. And if we don't, I think it was just this last Mother's Day, Amanda and I sat tried vigorously to write a song for my mother. So here we are. We're going to sing this song for you. And I think the words are down there in case you don't understand. It's called She's a Mother.
Meet that person. My name is Joan Quinn too, but I don't come anywhere near what you all have said. I thank you so much. I'm overwhelmed. I also thank God for guiding my life. As you can see, I've had a great life. I know a lot of people in high places, and he's one of the highest that I can count on. Yes, 16 years ago, Willie Brown, the mayor of San Francisco, appointed me to the Arts Commission. His speaker then, Mike Bruce, who is the president of Learn Foundation, I'm sure helped him see the light. I think my husband Jack helped both of them see the light. They've told you everything. We started collecting art 30 years ago, and Jack was always the one who had such a great eye and said that he wasn't tight with the money. I always was, so that's why we have such a great collection. He wasn't afraid to spend it. He's been by my side all these years, as you know, and he's really been behind me, pushing me, telling me to take the job, encouraging me to go on, telling me if I didn't know how to do it, I'd learn how to do it, he'd help me. It's a guy thing, really. He's a kingmaker. But when he married me, he didn't realize that my Armenian name, Takui, means queen. So he had to turn out to be a queen maker. He's the best thing in my life. He's been there the longest. And I love Jack Quinn, and I know all of you who know him love him the same way, just like Tony and Pearl. books. It's quite different than what I'm doing now. I miss my father. He left this earth much too soon. He wasn't so crazy about the arts. He was really a sports person. But he did like all of my friends, especially Billy L. Bankston and Kenny Price, because they hung out at the motorcycle races with him. So he was always happy to see them. I want to thank my darling daughters, Jennifer and Amanda, who at an early age traveled with us all over Europe and the United States. Their big complaint on every trip was, "Oh no, not another museum." Till one day as teenagers, they went to LACMA. They went with their class. They passed to San Francisco on this tour, and they said, "Oh, we know a song." And the docent looked at them. Then they went by an Ed Ruscha, and they said, "We have a bird and a word at home." She still was very confused. Then they saw a Hockney, and the girl said, "Well, David was just over for tea with Divine." She was quite amazed, and then they went by a Robert Graham sculpture, and they said, "Well, Bob is our godfather." So they were very upset when they came home because they said that the woman didn't believe anything that they said that day. I take pride in their taste. They even like to go to art galleries and openings, and they look for museums throughout the world now, any kind of museum. The staff and the director of the California Arts Council has changed many times over the last 16 years. We've been bloated with interns, assistants, our staff has had staff, but our people now, under the leadership of Barbara Piper, it is a bare bones operation. The money has been cut so much, and the staff we have now is doing as much, if not more, and better than they did for years past, and I thank the staff for that. Ray Tatter and Juan Carrillo were there when I came on board. They indoctrinated me. And when I asked Ray what I should do, I said, "How have we lasted so long?" And he said, "Just learn the simple steps of diplomacy. Say yes, smile, and walk away." When I told that wonderful, caring Ed Kazir about that, he said, "Oh, you're selling yourself short. All of you are experts. You know what you're doing." And I said, "No, thank you, Ed. Thank you for being so encouraging, and thank you to my council colleagues. Iris I've known forever and ever, and I've worked with all of you, but not as long as Carney Hodge, who came in from Fresno. Thank you, Carney." My fellow Pisces, also, not you fellow Pisces, the other one, Consuelo, couldn't be here today. But she is so smart and so insightful and such a sensitive woman. I've just learned so much from her because she's a great teacher and a great asset to our state. I'm almost done. Thank you to Gay Carroll, who has just been a whirlwind. She took over this project and just went about it with enthusiasm, excitement. I think she was so happy to talk to everyone who's in this room. She was thrilled every day. She never said, "I can't do it, I won't do it." She was great. She never complained. And to the people I've worked the longest with, April, Sally, Carol, Scott, Gloria, Mercedes, Josie, you've all been great. Anytime I've ever needed anything, you've been there. And I told Carol Schiffman, my maestro for ballet class, Gallo Bravo, is here, and I was going to do my first recital. And I thought maybe you wouldn't leave, but now I'm afraid you've been here too long, so I'll pass on that. To all of you in the audience, all of you who came from so far, Hal Meltzer, Gilbert Lujan couldn't be here. He's probably still driving from New Mexico. Joe Fay, Greg Edwards, Zandra Rhodes, Mel and Lita Ramos, all of you who have taken the time to come. It's been so wonderful for me. This is a terrific, terrific day. Henry Hopkins, who's been my inspiration for years, and who's helped me the same way Alan Odell has helped me in the museum world. We're grateful to you for letting us have this meeting here. Thank you. is a perfect setting. I looked up the word artist. An artist is one who practices any of the fine arts, painting, sculpture, poetry, music. One whose work shows skill. Skill which is obtained by study, practice, or observation. You've all shown me your skills, fine skills. You've opened my eyes and my mind. I thank you all for giving me so much. It's been my honor and joy to serve on the California Arts Council. Now in closing, I've written a few thoughts here for you. It won't take me very long. This is for the council. It's about what the commission can do to walk the path and follow the groundwork that we, for the past 16, 17 years, have laid down. Is that your stomach I hear, Zandra? I think everyone's hungry, forget it.
Briefly before we close, Joan, thank you. I think on behalf of the council, those of us who have had the great good fortune to work with Joan and to work with artists and art throughout this state, and for many of us throughout the world, know that among other things, great art will bring us vision and enlightenment and quite often joy. And in thinking about Joan and the work that we've done with her, I think we would all conclude that every step of the way she's brought us vision, certainly enlightenment, and great, great joy. Thank you on behalf of all of California for everything you've done for her.